How's it going? And today I'm going to show you how to remove a logo or a number from a building that you don't want seen in your shot. In this case, we don't want the address showing on this house. So we're going to show you how to hide it and mask it out. So here we go. Here's how we go. So what we do is we got our original clip, and this is what we want to get rid of. So what we're going to do is we go into Event Pan Crop. We're going to make sure we're in the first position. We're going to check Mask. And then we're going to go over here to the Rectangle tool. And then we're going to draw I can kind of zoom in here a little bit. Let me pull this in so I can see it a little bit better. And I'll hit this tool. And when I draw this thing, I'm going to try to actually get along the lines here. And just draw it so I'm trying to hide the lines along the existing lines if you can. And of course your situation may vary. And once I have it drawn to that size of what I'm trying to hide, then I just click and drag it over here to basically what I'm going to cover it with, an image of what I'm going to cover it with. So I'm going to use that, and if I click again, I just have this one area selected. Now once that's done, I make sure I'm in the first position. There's nothing else going on here, no position changes. I'll close this window, and there we have our image. So what I'll do then is I'm going to click this and save a snapshot to file, and now I have something to cover that spot up with. So now I'm going to drag this down to the timeline, and I'm going to stretch it out the length of the clip. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Event Pan Crop on this image. Make sure again you're in the first position. Now you're going to have to move this out of the way. Oh, one thing we're going to have to do, let me close this real fast, is go back into this clip, come down here, right click, and hit Reset Mask so that there is no mask. We don't need a mask there anymore. Okay, so now we're back here on top. Click on the first frame there. Go into Event Pan Crop again. Make sure we're in the first position. Now what I'm going to do is move this out of the way. Now I'm just simply going to move this over that image. And I think that looks pretty good right there. So then what I'm going to do, make sure we haven't made a new keyframe or anything like that. Now this is the part where it involves a little bit of finesse, and in each situation will be different. But the effects you can use to try to mask that in now to hide those edges is Gaussian blur is one. And I'm double clicking here. Brightness and contrast is 2. And then the soft contrast is another one. And we just go okay. And let's start. Now, interestingly, let's unclick these to start, and we'll start with the Gaussian blur and kind of work our way down and see what helps us to hide this. So, for some reason, the default values on the Gaussian blur is 0.0630, 0.0630. I don't know what that is, but for the Gaussian blur to hide this, it really needs to be much lower than that. So, if you hit Control on the keyboard, you just pull this down to, I think, to keep an eye on that image. I believe it was, that's got to be lower than that even. It seems like, let's try this one too. So when it comes lower, it hides it better. So right there. Yeah, so it actually is like, I would say right about there, 0.093, and wait, that's 0.0093, 0.0095. So those are very low values, but it looks like it's pretty much hit it. So now what I'll do is I'll take a snapshot, and let's take a look at this picture and see how it looks. You know, that's not too bad, although I'm seeing just a little bit of the number there, so maybe I've got to scoot it over a little bit. So let me go back into Vegas here. And let's go back into pan crop here. And this time I'll just make it so they can only move horizontally. And then I'll just use the keyboard, the arrow keys on the keyboard to move over. Yeah, so let's look at it now. Let's take another snapshot. That looks pretty good. Now, you know, knowing that I did this effect, I can still see some edge, but I don't think anyone else would see it. But let's go in and add a couple little more effects on it. So let's add just a touch of brightness, and I mean a touch, pressing Control again, I mean just a little bit of brightness there to kind of lighten it up a little bit. Let's add, now look what happened when I added the soft contrast. So I'm sure this has got to be brought way, way down. So let's bring that down. Again, a very low value should work. And let's bump up the diffusion there. And so these three settings we can play with, and mostly keeping the contrast again very low. So let's take a snapshot of that and see what that looks like. That looks pretty good to me. I couldn't tell. I can't see the numbers at all. So I would say that this is a good way to mask out anything that you don't want a picture of in your scene. You just have to find an area in your scene to use as a replacement. Basically, you're copying and pasting one part of the image over on top of another. The main thing is, for this shot to work, for this effect to work, you have to have a locked shot, and if it's not steady, it won't work. So let's say if you have a little bit of movement, you might be able to stabilize the image enough to where this would work. Otherwise, you'll see the effect kind of moving. But if it's a lock shot, this should work. Yeah, so I hope you found this helpful. Let me know if you have any other settings that might work better. But I think the Gaussian blur alone is enough, but then you can also add brightness and contrast and soft contrast. So thanks a lot for watching, and take care and have an awesome day. Bye.